is the fairway off.
Dream Team's alright with me. Dream Team's alright. Oh yeah. I'm Roy. I coach Destroy. This is Warn Dog.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
This is Calvin. What are you laughing at?
Coach of the Calvinators.
Woo! We're here to talk about a massive week of Dream Team because we've seen a bit of a price change in a few people. So there's break-evens left, right and centre. A few players going up, a few players that I know about going down. We'll go around the grounds. Warn Dog.
All right, around the grounds. Let's make this happen. Let's start off with the Warn Dogs. Bad week for me because I slipped from, it would have been nice to actually have our episode work last week because I was up in the 300s, but now I'm outside the top 3,000. Pretty awful score. I had a few issues. Probably the biggest one was Cruiser going down with 21, but yes, I have to move on. We're all going to have some bad weeks, some more than others. Calvin.
I know what you mean by that. Well, I got a Varco booked right on my chest. He only scored 12, which was actually just 5 less than what he's probably averaging. So it's not a huge deal. But now I've got to fix him up. So, yeah, another poor week by me. And, geez, I've just got to get shit moving. And so do you, Troy.
I do. And I'm here in the Workwear Hub vest.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I dodged bullets. This is how well I'm travelling. I actually dodged all bullets and still end up in the vest due to just having absolutely pathetic players that I will, week after week, keep using my trades to hopefully get out. So I was pathetic. Biggest ones on my chopping block, Green and Zorko. But having said that, Mitchell and Comma are out now, which are my only cover for the midfield. And boys, something I'll talk about with you a bit later, the rumour mill at the moment is
God.
It's pissing me off because if these aren't true, they're ridiculous.
Well, we've been sucked in a few times.
We have.
Now, you look great.
No, well, thanks. That's why I don't actually mind wearing it.
I'm also going to say I've got something for you.
How?
I've got a lookalike.
Do we do that?
We do now. I've got a lookalike for Roy this week.
No, they put my head on that dude's body in the Workwear Hub website.
Lookalike.
There's Calvin's head on that body at the moment.
What was that from last week?
From last week.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, I don't pull cords when I wear the friggin' vest. I embrace it.
But you can go and purchase one of those if you like.
Yeah, that's cool. I've spoken to some people that are actually ripping them out.
They do. Yeah,
that's funny. So, yeah, you have fun with those if you want to get those from the Workwear Hub website. But, Cal, you've got your lookalike.
I do. Now, Dog, can you put it on the screen? Look at him.
Oh,
he's angry, he's muscly, and he's green. Look at him. Troy, ladies and gentlemen.
It was just
something we prepared earlier.
Yes, I did send Dog a sneaking message.
Yes, well, it was a sort of compliment, I guess. So, thanks.
Green.
Speaking of Workwear Hub, now they have a fantastic. 2 weeks ago, they had a great competition. We'll be tweeting out the winner of that after the show, so get excited about that. First up, and we'll announce that at the end of the show, but first up, we do have a competition for them for this weekend, which is great. Now, boys, whack one of these on. The old Mack.
Chopstick.
You can put that one on.
Thanks.
The old Mack Boots. We're going to get one from them.
Oh, what?
Set of boots to give away to someone. And,
lucky.
Christy is here to tell us all about that. And, they're worth $200. So, check to see what you have to do.
Do they make size 6s for you? Got him, yes.
Oh, good work. Size 5.
This is Christy here from the Workwear Hub. This week you have a chance of winning a pair of Mack Dingos worth $200. Now for this chance, all you have to do is tweet at DT Talk, at Workwear Hub and at Mack Boots what you think Brendon Goddard would say to his former team St Kilda after his first match against him with the Bombers. Make sure you include the hashtag GoddardSays. Now entries close 6 p.m. Australian Standard Eastern Time, the 22nd of April, and the winner will be announced on DT Talk Live. So get fired up and start tweeting.
All right, so there's the details. Basically, get your tweet on. So what is Goddard going to say to his teammates? Think about that. Make sure you've got the hashtag GoddardSays. And also make sure that you've got us, DT Talk, at Workwear Hub, and at Mack Boots in there. We're going to pick the winner on Monday night once entries close. So should be some good entries coming in because I'm sure he's going to say quite a few
What
things.
do you reckon he's going to say, Roy?
Oh, I don't know. Score more points, you faggot.
I'm going to reckon he's going to say, hey, Hep, I like that you're on 70 at half time. Goddard on.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good one.
Right.
That's
Not
a win.
bad.
That could win.
What's winning? He's
Right,
very
very
good.
quickly, we weren't able to announce the winner of our Golden Stubby last week, so we've got it back this week, and it's the same dude that won in the first DC Talk Live episode, and that was old Ollie Wines. What a champion.
Oh my
He
God.
was
What a
good.
man child.
How did we go with his scoring on our ground this week, boys?
Well, got
Rumour
sucked
mill.
into that rumour mill, which I
Rumour
won't
mill.
be doing again. 2 weeks in a row, I've got burnt by rookie rumour mill, I'll call it, and I've missed out on 100.
But we're just going to start that right now because I'm sick of hearing about this rumour mill shit and it influences my head and our heads.
Yeah.
Got us last week.
Yeah.
Got us the week before with, Mitchell's going to
2
play.
weeks in a row.
And so we sat, the
And
amount of times, and it started again this week with Pendlebury.
Yeah, Pendles is out,
Pendle,
Gaz is
yeah.
out, and Cox is out.
Yeah, they're all not playing apparently.
well, that's a great segue to go and look at the team.
Starting off with the Cats and Swans now, I really need these guys to kickstart my round. I've got a few big guns playing.
Yep.
The ins and outs, Varco's out for the Cats, which obviously hurt you, but
Got me to
it's
the
a
roof,
blessing
right?
in disguise because
Easy.
you have a good excuse to get rid of him now, which you need to do.
I had 2 excuses. 1, he's injured. 2, he's shit.
Yeah, exactly. So he's out. For the Swans, Morton. Remember we talked about him way back in the day because he went all right in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in, and so is old Rampy's back, rookie.
Second game.
Yeah, second game. Hawks versus Freo. Only really relevant thing apart from a wicked flashback. I thought he was like playing in the 80s. Osborne is back, but we had him a few years ago.
I've got a flashback play for you coming up.
I know Chopper used to always be an Osborne fan.
He
Would
did.
always have Osborne in his team.
And
Probably
get
why
crappy
he never
about
went
him
very
as
well. Yeah. But Pav out,
Ooh,
and it's a must try.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Achilles
So,
surgery.
yeah, so big Pav dog's out.
Pretty severe.
I tell you what though, he could, after a couple of weeks back, it would be a few low scores,
Yeah.
and then the big fella could come home like a steam train. So keep your eye on him in about 10 weeks. Richmond versus Collingwood. No change at the Tigers. They're pretty happy with how they're travelling. And they should pump out a few scores versus the Pies because the Pies are leaking a little bit. They're certainly not manning up.
Are you crossing over into my territory, right?
I'll just carry on then with no big changes at the Pies. Pendlebury, what a surprise.
He's in, is he
named.
right?
Oh, he's been
I heard
named.
he was out.
No, he's been named, but you need to still stress about it.
Oh,
Frosty, Jack Frost,
Oh,
Gonski. So
Oh.
a few people had him. Yeah, he's out.
okay.
If you banked on him, there are some rookie options to get
There
you
are.
for if you so wish. Calvin.
Easy. Well, St Kilda Essendon. Look, Simpkin and Sipos are in. Blake and Hughes are out. No one cares about them. Essendon, our boy Comma. Everyone jumped on him. He's out for 2 weeks. He nailed him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He was
That
out
hurts
for
me.
3 things. The match review panel looked at 3 things about him. He's just a nut.
He's
Anyway.
playing a bit of country footy out.
He's out for 2, so maybe offload him if you can. And Winderlick. Taking it back to the old school. Winderlick comes in. Gold Coast Suns and Port. Geez, I've been stressing all week, Roy, because I heard Ablett won't play, and I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do?
Well, he's got a broken hand.
Well, I heard that.
Yeah, his X-rays came back clear, so did his MRI.
Yeah.
But it's broken.
But it's broken.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So let's stress about that one as well. But he can't clench a fist. That's legit, because he said that on TV.
So he's not going to punch anyone in the
No.
face.
Or handball. Kick it.
Yeah,
Go.
it's a win.
Great
Actually,
dude. Murphy Prestia in and Russell and Allen are out. No one gives a whoop about that. But the best thing is that Hutchins has been named in a back pocket.
Wow.
He's on the bubble. He's going to pop. He'll pop big. So check him
You're
out
a
as
big
well.
fan, aren't you?
Big fan all over him. Mature age. He's going to be a keeper. He's the guy
Really?
I'm getting in this week. Trust me. Port, because I'm so bloody good at this game at the moment. Yeah, trust me. Port, Cassisi and Robbie Gray are in. And our boy, the Dark Knight dog, Kane Mitchell, is see ya.
after making himself, I think, about $4,000.
Will he play again?
Yeah, and he might be a great downgrade option for us halfway through
He
the
might
season.
I think he will actually sneak back in when they're allowed that next upgrade, won't he?
Yeah, I reckon. He's good enough. That's the thing. Even
Well,
in
he was
the
making the 22.
in the 3 quarters that he played out of the possible
was good.
12 that he had,
Yeah.
he was,
Now, one thing I've noticed about you since you've aged a little bit, you're really looking at those mature ages, aren't you? You don't worry about those young ones anymore. You like, you know.
It's funny you say that, Rod.
Yeah.
Carlton versus West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy called White coming in. He's a 24-year-old.
Don't you know about White
He's
Dog?
played a few games before.
Yeah.
He's only 240 Ks defender, so just keep an eye on him.
you're going to consider that, eh?
No, I won't.
No,
Cruiser.
I tell you what, though, he did actually rack up a lot of uncontested possessions in the VFL last week.
Yep. So keep an eye on him.
For the top place
And
full-hands.
of course,
Might add.
Dog,
Blues.
Cruiser, Thumb,
Special K gone.
broken. So yeah, thumbs down there. And for West Coast, Embley is out. I don't know if many people would have jumped
out?
on him.
Yeah.
He's
No, 2 to 3 weeks. I can't remember
It's a
exactly
foot.
now, but yeah,
He's got a foot, I reckon. He's got two
he's
of them.
got 2.
So he
Maybe that's his problem. They
So
said
yeah,
foot.
twice as
Only
good.
had one.
Twice as long, one for each foot. And the other guy's out. It's Brown. But the other guy that's in, you don't want to touch him, but I want to bring you back to an
So he's not mature age. 'cause you touch
He's
him.
very mature. He's very mature age. Darzil. Remember what Brad Darzil, and I'm going to bring it back to you.
Up to Brisbane.
Now, there's a lot of little kiddies out there watching going, oh, Darzil, Calvin, you've lost your mind. Probably. Darzil was your Zorko of 2012.
Yeah.
Darzil, he's only played 27
He was like a
games.
poor man's Barlow.
He was brilliant. Now, in 2008,
Yeah.
in 2008, he averaged 95, which was massive back then, right? And in his first 3 games, he came in round 16, 116, 82, 117. DT coaches were just going nuts over
What
his
is
bloke.
this guy?
Yeah, he was a DT freak of his time, right?
Right.
Darzil, he's going to be sub. He's old school and he's an absolute freak.
You got to respect him.
You got to respect it. So yeah, he's it. So moving on.
All right, into the Sunday games. These are the ones that are pretty much pointless to talk about because they are extended benches. But there are a few guys worth thinking about there. Melbourne, Max gone. I think his rookie price is a ruckman. So
Is he really?
But, I don't know.
No,
Maybe I
it
should have researched
doesn't
that.
matter anyway.
He'd be
There's
pretty
people
cheap.
like Sam Rowe there at the moment.
Yeah, anyway. Jack Watts does come back in for those people that might have held on to him if they do have him.
What's
Got
he?
to start with. GWS, Sultana, he's sat in our teams a little
Good
bit
on
in
him.
the preseason.
Good on him.
Yep.
He's in with Patton being out for the year with his ACL.
Oh,
That's so shit.
Sucks. There's lots of other changes there, but they're the main ones. Adelaide and the Bulldogs. So for Adelaide, we've got a couple of rookies there, Laird and Kerridge. Now, Laird was upgraded to off the rookie list this week, so
Okay. So
he
they're
might be one to
obviously
keep an eye on. Out though, a couple of big ones there. Nathan Van Burlo, see ya.
He hurt himself.
And yeah, he did. But Bernie Vince has been dropped. I think he had the vest on last
The
week.
Crows
too.
are that strong at the moment, dog. We can afford to drop people.
How'd they go against Port Adelaide and Justin Westhoff?
Don't you cross into
I'll
my
tell you
territory.
This is really good for Crouchy. He's named on the ball.
Yeah.
He's named on the ball in the absence of
Yes.
like the Vince Van Burlo. So
So get him in this week if
yeah,
you're
if you
not.
can.
That's the interesting one. So
you can.
Bulldogs, Calvin, your boy Boyd is back.
But no, he's not my boy. He is my boy.
You love him.
Because I had him at the start of the year and I was quite
You
proud
love
of
him.
myself for it.
Mm.
Did his calf or whatever he did, and I was all deflated, and I was like, who am I going to get? Pumped it back out,
Sorry
so I
about
got
that.
Beamsy back in,
Yeah.
deflated it again, just like a bloody waterlogged ball that no one wants to kick around anymore. Old school, they wouldn't get that either.
All right. The other ones there, rookies that they've got, McRae and Stringer have both been named there, so watch out for them because they could be some good options for us later. Our couple of guys, a couple of the big names there, Bob Murphy, he's in my ultimate footy team, so that hurts me a little bit, but
What's that
also he's not sure.
He hurt
He
did hurt himself. Yeah, hurt himself.
Yeah.
But Higgins,
Couldn't see that one coming. Higgins.
Higgins
Is he
out
injured?
for the rest of the year with that navicular bone. You've got to feel sorry. We can all joke about Higgins.
I feel sorry for
we don't
him.
pick
Oh,
him because
okay.
he's so injury prone. But that bloke needs to find some luck.
I'm not a doctor. Maybe can you explain to me what a medicular bone is?
That's the one in the foot. Remember that Egan from Geelong?
Yeah.
His career was over from it. So that would be sad if that's Higgins' fate. But anyway.
It's not my dicular bone, which you just said.
Yours does look broken out. Anyway, North Melbourne and
He's mature, isn't
Brisbane.
I got excited.
But North Melbourne, the big one there that was all the rage this afternoon on Twitter is Marjack Door is in. The door is open. So he's into the ruck. He's been named in the ruck. That's the other thing. So Goldie's named at full forward.
Oh, what a joke.
Yeah. Anyway, he's named in there. They're the big ones from that from North Melbourne. And for Brisbane, Paparoni may not get a gig, and watch out for him just quietly. Won't go too much into him just yet, but watch out for him. And Doherty, Voss has confirmed that he's going to play. So there's another backline.
Oh, is
player.
he?
So
I've just got one question before we move on. How old's Dua?
22 or something, I think.
Prime for thinking.
Mature enough for you? You're a cramp. All right. Arr.
Arr, mature age. Captains. All right.
Yes, good.
Right, okay. People have been saying, oh, Cowan, it's become a little bit predictable. And fair enough, because it has. But I'll tell you why, though. The stats do not lie. They do not lie. Swanee, he's averaged 126 in his last 3 against Richmond, and he had 116 last year. That's pretty solid, but it's at the MCG.
Oh,
113 this year he's averaged, and he's just going to smash it a bit. People go, oh, but he hasn't been having the big numbers. He's still the 7th best ranked player in the comp.
Yeah.
That's still pretty bloody impressive.
He's getting it done.
It's without setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
Old wise man Calvin once said, mature age Calvin, Swanee is a gun. Guns go bang. Make sure you're holding the gun at the right end when it does.
Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Yeah, you obviously haven't read the article this week. Anyway,
Sounds good though.
I'll tell you another guy though that I really like is Brett D'Olivio. Now, very rarely will I chuck him in the top 5.
I know.
He goes in at number 2. He is just going to go bang this week. Had 140 on Collingwood last year and 118 the year before that. And that's coming off 135 last week.
Bloody hell, he's looking good too.
Big scores always. Big midfielders go big against Collingwood.
And if
It's
there is
huge.
any form of a tag, it is always going Koch number 1.
Yep.
D-Lees.
And look, it's
Marco's in the
crazy.
green vest. I'm sorry, that was exciting.
Who was that?
Sorry.
Whoa, got a
This
bit
is bad,
soundtrack
this is
there.
bad live,
I'm not the only
bad
dude.
live TV, is it?
At least I'm not alone.
On Fox Footy,
Tell me, boy.
Parko's wearing a bloody green vest on there. Anyway.
I bet it's not a work hard green vest.
No, work with
It didn't even fit
Top
properly.
It looks stupid, by the way. I would know. I've never worn one this year.
No, you wouldn't.
Gary Ablett, though, he comes in at number 3 for us. Look, I tell you, for some reason, since he's been a Gold Coast Sun, he's only had 106 and 83 on Port.
Won't play.
I think but I'll tell you what, Kane Corns has done a great job tagging. He'll definitely go to Ablett. He held Danger to 95 last week. Look, Danger's not setting the world on fire, but neither's Ablett at the moment. He's only averaging 108. A lot of guys getting off him this week. And look, if his hand is bum, he's going to kick it a lot more.
Yeah.
But how's he going to tackle? How's he going to grab? How's he going to look?
He does look sore. You know he's going to play because it's Gary Ablett. He's just proud. He's tough.
Yep.
He's their best player. However, he's going to be down on his
Look,
best.
and another guy I really, really like is Pendles. Pendles had 122 on Richmond last year. He's just smacking it up at the moment. He's averaging 116 so far.
Is he really?
He's one of the top knockers going around, and he'll get tagged by Jackson, and it doesn't concern me too much at all. So make sure Swanee's got to be your number 1. But if you're after a roughie, then look at a guy like Dean Cox who goes against Cruiser, who obviously isn't there. So, and he had a massive score last week. Yes, it was only against Melbourne. So, Coxie, if you want to be really off the radar and do something crazy, then go for him. He's at home. But to be safe, straight down the line with the pig, because
Keep calm and hot.
you just got to do it, because at this stage, you don't want to be stupid. He hasn't done anything to suggest that you would want to go away from him. So do the right thing, I reckon, Dom. Who are you going?
Swanee.
Roy?
Swanee.
Cowan.
There's the top 5. So you got Swanee at number 1. We all love it. You know, all those guys should be pretty good. At number 5.
Whoa!
Yeah, okay, I'll touch it. I'll touch it. He's definitely not a... But look, he is leading all scorers in Supercoach, that game we also play on the occasion, and Dream Team. He's leading everybody. He's averaged 131 this year with 140 and 154 in the last few weeks, right?
Wow.
If I didn't put him in there, people would have come to my house and burnt pirates on the
So
front
you haven't
doorstep.
put him in there because you think he should be there? Is that
He
what you're
will be.
saying?
No, Roy. I would never succumb
I was
to
going
the
to
pressure
say
of
that.
others. I will not. This pirate will fall on his own sword. This week, he plays Gold Coast. Last week, Jonathan Brown, same position,
Yeah.
not same, similar type of player, played Gold Coast. He was best on ground. He had 106 points, 5 goals, 19 disposals, and 8 marks on Rory Thompson. Rory Thompson will try to guard Westhoff. There is no chance he's going to do it. I've penciled Westhoff in for another 120. And that's, I don't think I'm overdoing it or even underdoing it there. He's easily going to have 120. He'll kick 3 or 4. The dude's tackling. He's marking. What do we hear on TV? Number 1 in the league for uncontested marks.
So he's getting away from
He's a
these dogs.
DT at the moment. And I'll tell you right now, yes, he's gone up 60k and you might have missed the boat. The boat's sailing away from the port. Jump in the water, swim after it, climb back on.
Grab it. He's still negative 20 break even.
Still negative 20. He'll go up 80 to 90 grand in the next 2 weeks.
Holy hat.
I've done my
You
maths.
heard it here first.
Cost, Calvin. Are you getting him in this week?
True. Wow. That's awesome. Making him captain? I didn't think so.
I'm not that stupid. Anyway.
All right, back for some Twitter time now. So we've got quite a few tweets here to get through. Be ready for these. I haven't prepared you for any of
No,
them.
I
That's
like
how I like
it.
it,
I
Doc.
like it like
So
this.
it's what you think, straight up.
All right.
Okay, Paul would like to know, is it worth trading Zorko to Westhoff?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Just, yes.
Just do it.
Next one, Sam would like to know, hey lads, do you see any value in trading Mundy or Dangerfield to Hodge? Free up some cash for a low break even. Hashtag risky.
Look, if it's a Dangerfield, I'm going to say definitely because Dangerfield goes against the Bulldogs, guaranteed to be tagged one lower. And I'm a Danger owner, and if I didn't have to patch up my hole in the chest called Varco, I would be doing the same thing.
Thing that worries me about Hodge, he just was that good last week that you cannot help. Who's your mate? De Boer or Crowley have to go to Hodge this week
100%.
because he was just too damaging. So there is that worry. However, it's Hodgie, so he'll push through. He's got a break even of about 1, so he's going up significantly.
And the games at Aurora down here. So last time they were here, which was the last time Fremantle were here, which is pretty crazy, Crowley tagged Mitchell and held him to 73.
Right.
I think he'll definitely do that again based on past success.
Yeah.
Which means De Boer will probably go to Hodgie.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't in a position where they can sneak Hodge in this week. I think there's definite value in doing it.
Now, we're actually trying to hook up an interview with De Boer tomorrow night. If he tells us he will tag Hodge, keep an eye on the Twitter account because at DT Talk, we will fire it out to you and let you know.
Yeah, make sure you follow us there. There's our Twitter accounts for those that are playing along at home. Anyway, here is the next question. It is related to Hodgie. Sideways trade Maloney to Hodge. Is it a good move or pointless? Hodge looking the Hodge of old, basically, which he did. He looked like
He was
2010
amazing.
Hodge.
He was
So
amazing.
he was great. So is it worth going Maloney over
Look,
to him?
He looked like an injury-free Hodge.
Hmm.
Injury-free Hodge. I still think Maloney's got a fair bit of growth. I still think
About the
he's got-
same, or
Well, geez, it's tough. Roy, help me.
Well, there is now more growth in Hodge than Maloney.
yeah,
The thing is, though, I can't help but look at Maloney in 2 weeks playing Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think after that game is when I'd like to piss him off.
that's
ideally.
going to be quite exciting as well. What's he going to do against his other
Yeah, well,
team?
he'll be having a fair dinkum crack.
20 tackles.
every single player out there.
Well, that's the
bar
thing.
Tootie.
But they barely touch it, so you don't get to tackle them. You have to kick and that.
He'll give it to him and attack.
Yeah, so I don't know. I do see value in that. I personally, sometimes if you just step back and go, who is the better player here? Hodge is 10 times better than Maloney. I never do it like that, and sometimes I should.
Look,
It's a very interesting question.
More taggable though, because he's obviously one of the top players,
without a doubt.
whereas Maloney's probably like
He'll be able to
third
float
or fourth
through.
down the line.
Yeah.
So,
Good call.
Yeah.
All right, next question comes in. Are you better off bringing in Hodge with a low break even or a Crouch? So this is sort of still going with our Hodgie tangent.
Yeah,
there.
a lot of people are asking.
Would you just bring in a cash cow instead of Hodge? I'll go first then.
Yeah.
All right. I just think that probably the cash cows, you're still going to get them. Most of us would be pretty keen with, depending on what you're going to do with this. Like, if you're trading out one of your premiums that have just been pretty crap, you got to remember this guy's going to be on your field for at least a couple of weeks. So the points between Hodge and this rookie that you might get in that you might have to be playing, is it going to be too big of a difference? What would that difference maybe need to be for you to make it worthwhile? To be honest, Hodgie is probably going to make just as much money. It'll be less, but he'll make a fair chunk of money compared to a rookie anyway, with better scoring and better potential. So I think if you were getting rid of someone, I'd go the Hodge route and go 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, he's going to become one of those fallen premiums.
Well, if we're talking about rooting Hodge, he's definitely mature age, Calvin.
Oh.
He'd be,
well, I was going to say, we've got some rookies out there at the moment, and I'm top of my head, I'm thinking Wines and O'Meara, and they're probably a step above everyone else.
Yeah.
But they're hundreds on their day. They're hundreds. Now, what do we expect from a Crouch? At the best, 70, 80?
yeah.
It's fair.
I do.
You know what I'm getting at? And the day Hodgie turns up and gets tagged, it could be an 80 to a 90. So the difference is, Hodgie's not going to have a 140.
Correct.
His highest is probably going to be a 120.
Didn't you see him on the weekend?
He had 130, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe 130. He's a little bit older.
But no, I know. I know what you're saying.
Age bracket.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Seeing Crouch, it's such a tough call. There's so many things this year. Nothing is quite aligning.
We don't know how to play it either.
No, exactly. And Crouch, he's named. I think he was named on the ball. I think he was named on the ball. So I'm still with Hodge on this one.
Right.
Get Hodgie in.
Yep. Back what you know.
All right, let's move along to this one here. Aidan would like to know, I've done 2 trades further round, but with Dawes' imminent debut, which he is, would it still be advisable to trade in Roller Sinclair? So, with Dawes, basically I think what he's saying is with Dawes debuting this week, do we wait a couple of weeks for him to get on his bubble? Or do we get in a Roller Sinclair? Now, Roy, as a Carlton supporter, I think we'd all have Rowe ahead of Sinclair, would we?
Yes.
Yep, we would. So,
and I'm a massive fan of Rowe.
Yeah.
I think Cruiser going down only increases his value. But the thing with Rowe, and Carlton have all these guys that everyone puts on a pedestal in the, they're big guys that go forward and apparently mark all these footies, etc. No, they don't. Not compared to Rowe. They don't. They look great, and they do it one every 10 times. But Rowe doesn't look as good, but he gets it done. So I reckon he is locked and loaded. And not only locked and loaded as in best 22, he is well and truly the target compared to these other guys. When he rucks, do you know what? This is funny, but when he rucks, he's one of the few ruckmen that actually looks at someone to hit it to and tries to hit it to someone. I'm not even joking about this. The other ones are happy to just go and,
clock up a point.
Just get a hand on it. He actually works to hit it to someone.
I think you need to get him rolled as a call.
Yeah, no, he knows it.
Does he?
Yeah, he knows it.
Okay.
And Rowe is definitely, he is the number one. He is number one on my rookies to get in this week. I'm not in a position to do it. I wish I was, because he would be the one that I would
You've
get
heard
in.
it first.
Yeah,
Number one Carlton fan.
All right, next question. Do I trade Curry to Rowe?
Yes.
Or does he go Mitchell, Comet, to Crouch? So that's meaning that he's got Mitchell and Comet there, like I do. I think you two do
I do.
as well. So would you prefer, if you don't trade Mitchell or Comet to Crouch, that means you're going to have a no bench in your midfield. What would you do?
I think in a situation like that, that's sort of a luxury position. You need your cover. I think you need to make sure you got your cover. I'm going to have to go into this week without the cover. because that's just how shit my team is. But yours sounds all right. So
Yeah.
if I was you, I'd be backing in the cover.
Yeah, and same. No, I wouldn't.
Here we go.
I'm running the gauntlet.
Hell.
I think Rowe is the better player. Get him in. It's only 1 week. You'll be right. Get cover next week with Mays or someone like that.
Great advice, Hulk.
Pendles and Ablett out this week too.
Yeah, I know.
All right, next one coming along here. Lachlan would love to know, would you lean towards strengthening your defender forward premiums? For example, you've got a Hoff and Birch, or making money by getting a Turlick and a Crouch. So this is a bit like he's forgetting his league, apparently, so he's not caring whether he wins or loses. Would you prefer to make money or go across and try to find a premium type guy to keep going, obviously, firstly, get you good points, and maybe, in the Hoff's case, get you a few more dollars there? What do you reckon?
That's tough. I reckon
Points v cash.
Well, that's it, and I think premiums are gonna float up and down over the course of the year. You're gonna get guys like a Zorko who has come up really early. Green, sorry, we want to bring it up again.
Oh, no,
those types of guys,
I know.
they're going to be primed for the picking. Even a Mitch Robinson. Things are going to happen throughout the course of the year where premiums are going to drop.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you pounce. So cashing in on money now rather than trying to secure your team, I think is a better strategy.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. Someone like, who did he have in there? Birch. Birch is underpriced at the moment.
Yeah.
I'd like him in.
Consistent.
I think he is not only consistent, a scorer, and underpriced.
Well, especially
He ticks all the
now
boxes.
without Suckling,
Yeah.
everyone was like, oh, you know,
And-
he's just shown that he's going to be better with it. What do you think?
And Hodgie told us in the preseason, Birch is moving up on the wing. Guess what? Birch is all of a sudden kicking goals.
So there's a rumour that's actually happened.
Because it wasn't a rumour.
I'm going to go, well, I'm a cash holder at the moment, so I'm doing most of my moves like getting the cash. I'll be going with this week with $500,000.
You're a cash pig.
I am a pig. All right, so moving on. Let's go into Zach's question. Westhoff or Dustin Martin? So, do you get on the Hoff or do you get on Dustin Martin?
I'm in that exact same position. I can choose. I'm going the Hoff because he has Gold Coast this week. I think he can knock up a 120.
Yeah.
But with that said, we said earlier that Richmond score well against Collingwood, and you know anyone scores well against Collingwood, so they don't bother manning up or anything. So, but for me, I'm going with the Hoff with a minus -20 break even. I think I can just get a little bit more coin out of him at the moment.
Sure.
I'm actually in a position where getting both is an option.
Yep.
However, I am.
If you were to rank him.
Yeah, I am Hoff before Dustin. I think Dustin, that was just pathetic by the Bulldogs.
Did they even know he was out there?
Yeah, they did, and they just didn't care. I think Dustin Martin is an awesome player.
He's a
Don't get
freak.
me wrong. However, that was just a witch's hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I go Westhoff, then Dustin.
Yep, fair enough.
All right, moving on to the next question. Martin would like to know, what should I do with Beau Waters? Keep or trade out? Well, I think he's out for a few weeks now, so I think that's a certain trade out. See what you can get. Get the best premium you can. Don't be all pretty with trying to find a bit.
And at the top of your list would be a Birchall.
Birch would be there.
And who else would you have?
I'll tell you, Pierce Hanley.
Pierce Hanley.
Yeah.
And then probably a Heppel.
Yeah.
So your top 3 picks.
So would you go Birch, then Hanley?
That is a great question.
To be honest, I'd actually go Hep. Every time I watch a game where Hep's playing, he's around the ball.
Yeah.
Look, he's not clocking up.
Hep's ceiling's probably higher than the other two.
Yeah.
It's got to.
Pierce is pretty high.
It's got to be a matter of time until other teams realise that Pierce Hanley is borderline their best player at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
And he will start copying some
But
that forward tag.
Hep's probably about 3 or 4 down the line for a tag at the moment. So I think Hep's just over Heppel. No, Hep's over Heppel.
Yeah.
Hep's over Hanley.
Last question. This is one that will plague us all year. Which rookie should I fill?
Oh,
You've got,
God.
okay. Don't ask us. 'cause
I'm
we're-
officially out of this.
Right,
I'm
back
the
line, you've
worst.
got to choose from the 3 Port Adelaide boys, Pittard, Stevenson or Heath. Who would you lock in there, Cal?
I've benched Heath all year, and I'm just going to stick with it and roll it through.
So which one of those guys would you play?
I'd play Stevenson ahead of all those 3. But no, the other
Pittard's
two-
28 does look awful on our team sheets at the moment. So that's...
But yeah, I just like Stevenson. He pushes up a
I
little
didn't
bit
even
further.
notice that. He just blended in on mine.
Stevenson pushes up a little bit further. I just think that he's probably the better one. But geez, you can throw a blanket over him. Yeah, it's a hit and miss each week.
Now this is another one. 2 out of Whitfield, Jones, Viney, Crouch. Whitfield, Jones, Viney, Crouch. All right, I think I'll say straight up, Viney. They're playing GWS, aren't they? Am I right? in saying
Yes.
that? Yep. So I'll probably go Viney because he's had a good score. Let's lock him in.
Yep.
Do you go Whitfield, who's playing Melbourne there,
And he's had 100.
and he's at 100 as well?
But he had 30 on the weekend.
And Jones obviously in that same boat there.
To me, I'd stop you right there and say you just lock those two in straight up.
So, yep.
Because they've had 100. Whitfield's name last on the extended interchange. I think he was still.
He has to be
cut.
right. He has to be fine to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it there, guys. Now, quickly, Roy, we'll flip in our footy tips.
Oh, yeah, how about that? For someone having an absolute shocker of a year with this team, it was amazing because I still picked my core, but you know, the next group that you pick in, say, Dream Team, where my Greens and Zorkos and that came in, they don't make that squad in ESPN footy tips, and I'm coming 10th.
For shizzle.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know.
He's a chance.
Well, yeah, I'm in the mix. So I'm just, I'm rocking out ESPN.
So remembering, if you're playing that game, you've got 2 trades every week
Yeah.
you can use, but then you can pull your super sub.
You know what? I pulled a massive super sub the other week. That's what really sent me up into the elite group. Someone had an absolute clanger of a game, and I said, "Buddy, come in and save me, big fella."
Yep.
He did too.
Nice.
Snagged a couple of sausage rolls.
Great work there.
Yeah.
Who's your captain in that?
Yes, this was good as well by me. Coffee. Yeah, sorry, Big. You didn't even make the cut.
Oh, yeah, look how angry he is!
So, Coxie. Yeah. He was really good too. He'll probably be my captain again this week.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's just about it for us. Just check this out here. Kevin Sheedy has a new book called The Long March.
Oh.
And we've got one to give away tonight. So watch very carefully on our Facebook. There will be a little bit of a competition going up there later on this evening. If you're not a friend or a liker or whatever those YOLO kids do these days on Facebook, get on there, facebook.com/DT Talk. Be on there and be ready tonight sometime during the evening in the next hour or two. Yep, we'll have a competition. But
Hashtag exciting.
Oh, very exciting.
YOLO.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Good to see that we are into
Great work with the internet.
Well done.
We get through that.
You did.
What aren't we going to do it again and then?
And again and again.
All right. See ya.